Phone's off.
3,
Got it.
2, 1. Stream on now. Hey, welcome to Move to Combat, a Magic the Gathering podcast, here with our very first episode, starring our host, Healy.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Kenny.
Hi.
And me, James. Today we're talking about War of the Spark. New Magic set comes out in 2 weeks. Can you believe it? Where are you going to be playing? How excited are you for pre-release? Let us know in the chat. But more importantly, what do our hosts think of this new set?
I am so excited for this new set.
I think it opens up a really cool design space, and I'm kind of really excited to start deck building with it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be an amazing standard. You're going to be able to build whatever you want.
I know it's going to be great.
Literally whatever you want.
There may or may not be this mill deck that I kind of want to.
You're going to go with just a standard mill deck?
No.
You have all of these options at your fingertips, and you're just going to go with a mill deck?
Lab Maniac mill. Be great.
You would go with the Lab Maniac deck in standard.
Yeah.
Disappointed in you, Kenny.
Commander strategies and standard. Gotta love it.
Oops, I win is fun sometimes.
Oops, I win? That's not oops, I win. That's like, oops, you don't get to play Magic because your deck is gone.
It's great.
Oops. Sorry, you've got no card left. Or, oops, sorry, I have no cards left. I win the game! Yay!
So what do you guys think about the new mechanic, the amass mechanic?
You know...
It's great for limited.
Yeah, it's great for limited. We should probably explain what amass is for those who don't know yet.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So amass is basically like modular, but with a creature token. If you don't have that creature token already in play, so it creates a creature token called a zombie army.
Yeah, I think it's just, is it army or zombie army?
It's a zombie army.
Okay. And the ability is like a mass X.
It's a mass X, so it could be any number after a mass, and then you put that many token or +1/+1 counters on the one zombie army counter or zombie army token that you had.
And if you don't have one,
if you
then
don't
you
have,
make one with that many counters on it.
Yeah.
You know, in theory it sounds like a cool idea, but realistically I don't think you're going to see it anywhere outside of limited.
Unless the spell attached to the amass card is really good. But normally there's like an uptick in mana cost because it's creating a creature.
Yeah. Where it's like, it seems like with the one destruction spell that's got a mass on it. I mean, there are better, cheaper options that do the same thing that just don't make a creature.
Yeah, it's like, what, 4 mana?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the minimum it's dealing like 2 damage to each non-army creature you can, or each non-army creature in play.
Yeah.
So it's 4 mana for 2 damage to everything. Might as well just play Mardu and play Deafening Clarion.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, listen. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of talking about amass. So let's talk about the fact that they brought back proliferating.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited about that one.
Yeah. I've been looking at a couple different strategies that may or may not include lands.
Oh, yeah.
What's the creature called? It's
Evolution Sage.
Evolution
Sage.
Sage.
The landfall proliferate guy.
Yep. I think it's a 2-drop.
Something like that. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. And then there's just some cool creatures that either proliferate when they attack, or proliferate when they die, or put +1/+1 counters on something, or like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just
great.
Really cool. It's really cool to see it back without poison counters.
Yeah. Proliferating works amazing for planeswalkers too, and since we're gonna have 37 of them in this set, I mean, it makes sense to have proliferating back.
Yep.
And speaking of the planeswalkers, how do we feel about those static abilities on them?
I don't mind them. I think it's an interesting evolution from the planeswalker template that we've had.
Yes and no. I'm hesitant to agree because I think on some of the planeswalkers it opens up a cool space. However, they're just glorified enchantments now. So
I'm inclined to agree with Healy here.
Um, they still feel like planeswalkers.
Uh, but they do and they don't at the same time, because you've got this space where you could have done anything with these planeswalkers, and then instead you chose to give them like abilities that you could have easily put on an artifact, and all you're doing is like killing, or not an artifact, an enchantment.
Yeah.
And now you're just killing your enchantment to maybe do something extra. Like, there are planeswalkers that I don't even want to use their abilities because I just want them on the field as an enchantment. And
Yeah.
to me, that's not a planeswalker.
Okay.
I agree.
Or if they had done it on like just the uncommons or something like that to add something to the lower rarity planeswalkers, because that's a design space that we haven't messed with yet. So if they had done it for like that instead of all 37 of them, maybe I would have been more inclined to like it. But
I think what it does is it lets them kind of raise the power level on the ones that they want to raise the power level on, and then it lets
turn
them
it down on the ones that they don't.
Yes.
Okay. I see your point there.
Because it adds a fourth ability without adding a fourth ability. Really?
Yes and no.
Like a fourth loyalty ability.
Okay. On some of them, like on the rares and the mythics.
On the
sure.
mythics, you're going to see all the mythics have 4 abilities.
Right.
What about the lore? That's what I'm excited about. Bolas finally meeting his end. Or is he?
Listen, Bolas is super, super powerful, and I love him to bits and pieces. However, if it's at the cost of all these other planeswalkers, I'm all for
they're going to turn on him.
The super friends using their power of friendship to take him down. Yeah.
From some of the spoilers, it does look like there are some planeswalkers that are sticking with him because they're bad people.
Tezzeret.
Well, Tezzeret's got the planar bridge in him. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. But a lot of planeswalkers that he had allied with have turned against him because they don't want to not be planeswalkers.
They don't want to die is the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you get your spark removed, do you die? Or
yes,
do you just get...
die.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
You die.
So,
it wasn't clear to me, though.
They die if they lose their spark like that. Now, there are ways they can give up their spark, like Teferi, the way he did it. But when, like, Venser gave up his spark to give it to Karn...
He died.
So...
It's like getting your...
Right.
It's kind of like getting your soul ripped out.
Yeah, Wizards equated it to getting your soul ripped out.
Because your spark is your soul.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Sounds painful.
So...
It sounds very painful.
Yes.
And the fact that these new zombies that Liliana's controlling can just rip their sparks right out of their chest. Yeah, no, not into that.
They're super dangerous. Like, it's kind of... The stakes are really high.
Yeah, these aren't your average everyday zombies.
No,
these are like super zombies.
Super zombies. Like World War Z level running after you at 60 miles an hour as you trip over.
This is the apocalypse, Kenny.
Yeah.
War of the Spark is the apocalypse on Ravnica.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what do you
With
guys...
that said, let's talk about the important part. The cards themselves, all right?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so we got a couple of our favorite cards from the new set picked out for you to talk about, debate, and disagree on.
Why are you trying to pit us against each other?
It's all part of my master plan. I do have Bolas behind me, right? So I gotta channel him. All right. So our first card.
Instantly, I like this card.
2.
Okay.
And I know you don't, but I do. This is like a limited bomb. It's so good if you can pull it off.
It is a limited bomb. But it's 8 mana for a 5/5 body that requires at least 4 power.
No. It is 8 mana for 13 power.
Bring them. Oh, it does bring them
it does bring them.
Yeah?
Yes. It is 8 mana for 13 power, and then the next turn you just use one of those 4/4 angels, and you crew it again, and you do it.
But you do
and
need
you just
to have
keep amassing your army.
You do need to have that established board the turn after it comes into play for it to attack. And
you could totally do it though.
I'm just happy to see
White's one of the easiest colors to do that in.
Okay, but getting to 8 in white is
do it. Just
hard.
do a white green deck. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'm just happy to see vehicles make a comeback after Kaladesh, and if you guys are too, leave me a comment with your favorite Kaladesh vehicle in the comments. We'll talk about that.
The vehicles. I do like the vehicles mechanic. It was one of my favorite from Kaladesh. I think it was one of the coolest like new card designs that they've come up with.
I don't know. I like this card.
Years.
Now that I thought about, when the angels are generated and then you crew them with the angels that were generated, it's no brainer.
Yeah. Yes, Kenny. 100% good limited bomb.
Yeah.
I said it was.
Yeah.
I said it was a
bomb.
good limited bomb. I said it was a good limited bomb. This thing will never see play in standard format.
Oh no, absolutely not. It's way too slow. Are you kidding me?
May not see play in Commander either.
Yeah.
I think it's too slow.
For Commander?
In a 4-player format, yes.
Have you played Commander recently?
I have, yes.
You can drop a 10-drop on turn 2 or 3. I don't even want to hear that it's too slow for Commander. Get out of here.
I think it's too slow to get what you want out of it for Commander.
It depends on what kind of deck you're playing.
Okay.
We do have Affinity back.
Yes,
it is an artifact.
Yeah. Tezzeret gives us Affinity, doesn't he?
He does.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right, you want to talk about our next card?
Yeah, let's go to Ravnica at War.
Oh, Ravnica at War.
Yeah, this thing's really good.
Multicolored permanents.
This thing's really good.
This is a 4-drop board wipe.
That's
not only a board wipe, but it exiles.
Yes.
It's like, I don't like that.
It exiles permanents.
Yes.
So all of your mid-range decks that have been living off of green-black cards, Krasis, your Basilica Battle Haunts, your Hostage Takers, your...
Oh, yeah. All of that's just gone.
Yeah, it just goes away.
Turn 4, exile it all.
This kind of takes the 2 Ravnica sets that came before it that were based entirely off of multicolor spells, and then stomps it in the mud repeatedly until it gives up.
Well, this is also your cheaper answer for Planeswalkers, too.
Yeah, a lot of the good ones are multicolored.
Instead of this is a turn or 2 turns sooner than the Immortal Sun.
It is,
and that just permanently gets rid of them. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
They're no longer just dead cards on the field.
Yep.
They're gone.
Yes, they are.
There's no chance that they're gonna remove your artifact and get their Planeswalkers back. It's just they're done.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you can also say that cards like Urza's Ruinous Blast are on the opposite end of the spectrum that blow up everything but Planeswalkers. So we're gonna see kind of that dichotomy in like control decks or mid-range decks.
I think part of it's gonna depend on how the format shapes up as well, because you're gonna see like so many different. Once people get over the initial like let's build Super Friends thing, you're gonna see a lot of different types of decks emerge, especially over the course of the 3 months. You're gonna see it flip-flop, like the format flip-flop back and forth so much that it's gonna be nuts.
And I guarantee that given the amount of given the amount of Planeswalkers, every deck is going to at least have a Planeswalker that supports that strategy.
Oh, almost guaranteed.
Unless it's like, no, even the aggro decks are going to be playing Planeswalkers on the top end to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to Tornik though.
Tornik, yeah.
Tornik, he's a super interesting concept on a card.
So this dude is going to see play in eternal competitive formats forever. He is Death and Tax's best friend.
Oh yeah.
On top of having flying on a 2-drop body with 3 toughness.
Oh yeah, 100%. Not only that, but he flies too. He flies and he makes like your stuff useless. Like that's a nice ghost quarters you have there. Sorry.
Yeah. He also just kind of takes life from the loam and tells you no. Which is really relevant.
Oh yeah.
You take Crucible of Worlds is in standard.
Well, he shuts and if we're talking about him from a commander perspective as well, he shuts down land matter decks.
Yes, he does.
Like, almost not. I mean, obviously, but your opponents can't play lands from their graveyards. Sorry, Lord Gringrace, your -3 ability is no longer viable, at all.
Yep, that Fall of Thran combo deck that's been floating around, that Tomic makes that really sad.
The Sultai lands deck that was running around in standard for a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Muldrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just one of the comments I was just about to mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's gonna see Eternal format play forever.
Probably, yeah. It's so good.
All right,
Now.
let's move on to the next one.
Our first planeswalker of the
Oh
night.
boy.
Oh,
Mina, enigmatic
So-
mentor.
For a limited, this thing is bonkers.
oh yeah. She's so good for so many reasons, especially in an uncommon slot.
Yes.
She's a 4-drop for 5 loyalty.
So I heard a friend of mine compare it to an uncommon History of Benalia for 1 more mana.
Okay, I could see that.
She makes
Sure.
2/2/2 bodies, draws you 2 cards, and she protects herself
Yep.
without making those bodies. So I think the best way to compare it is at turn 4, she makes Vraska's Contempt a 6-drop.
Oh yeah.
What do you
Like-
think about her in a Wizards Tribal commander deck?
I mean, she creates a relevant creature type, so
Yeah.
there's that. And then she
She protects her
filtering.
creatures too.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what
I
I was
mean-
thinking about for.
it's possible, but from the Wizards list that I've seen, especially mono blue, they tend to run a little bit faster than wanting to run Kismina.
Yeah. Here's another thing too. She's a planeswalker that she's one of the planeswalkers that I was talking about earlier, where it's like you almost want to play her and then you don't want to use any of her abilities because
Yeah.
her static ability is just so good.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing Super Friends, once
She
again,
just
like
sits
you
there.
said, Vraska's Contempt. Now they have to wait an extra like two turns to
turns,
play it. It's so good.
It is. Yeah.
She protects everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then she loots too.
Yeah.
If you make a creature, she loots.
Yeah. She draws you cards, she makes dudes, and she protects herself.
Yeah, she checks all the boxes. This is nuts at an uncommon slot.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Cool. Olas's Citadel.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't like this card.
Here's the thing. I do.
Oh boy.
It does allow you to pay life, and it's really, really good in Commander when you have lots of life,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so I fully acknowledge the fact that this like may not be the greatest in standard.
It's also not great in Limited.
Yeah. But in Commander, this card is nuts.
Yes, it's very good in
It's the
Commander.
epitome of Black wants to do. Use your life total as a resource. It's like I have this whole extra like what's essentially 40 mana to cast now.
Yep.
And
Especially if you're
to
running-
dig for my answer and get what I need.
Especially if you're running cards like Exsanguinate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
get all that mana back.
No,
or all
this
that life
is this
back
is
minus
100% a commander card.
2. Yes.
Yeah. So good.
Kaeya's Ghost Form.
This card's really good. I think it's kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
The ability
agree.
to say, throw it on a Casmina, make a wizard, like get her
Sure.
down to 1, right? She eats an attack, she comes back with full loyalty, right? Because it targets planeswalkers, which is
Oh yeah.
goofy. She also does stuff like, say you -3 to fairy, and he dies, and then you get to fairy back at 4
Yeah.
because they have to deal with it.
Yeah. This is one of those cards that if it used the way that it's written is not only amazing, but it's also one of those cards that forces answers too.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm playing this and I'm gonna like enchant my Teferi. So respond now or it's a 2-for-1.
Yeah,
A minimum of a 2-for-1.
yeah. And then when it comes back into play, it's gonna draw you a card. So
Yeah, exactly. So this is a card that forces an answer.
Yep.
Liliana, Druid
I
Horde General.
really like Liliana.
I haven't met someone yet who doesn't like Liliana. Are you kidding me?
So she makes bodies.
Yes.
She draws you cards.
Yes.
She removes creatures, and
Yes.
Dark Realms?
No.
No.
She
Each
doesn't Dark
opponent
Realm.
chooses a
Yeah, she's just removal galore. She's token
With
generation.
bodies, yeah.
She's card draw. She's everything you want her to be.
yes. The one thing that she
Everything.
will not be played in my opinion, is Super Friends decks.
Oh, probably not.
You're gonna see her in control decks.
Yeah.
You're gonna see her maybe in Aristocrats decks.
Maybe.
I think she might be a little too slow,
I was gonna say I think she might be a little too slow for that.
but
But in control decks,
yeah,
yes.
+1 make a zombie block draw card.
Yeah, that's your blockers. That's your draw stuff.
And
removal if you need it.
Yeah.
Like, she comes out and you can make a player sacrifice 2 creatures.
Yeah.
That's a nice Carnage Tyrant you have there.
Cool sack
Not
it.
anymore.
Yeah. Like, those are... That's a cool mid-range deck you're playing.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's easy to pressure if you do have a lot of creatures to play.
Mm-hmm.
But she's really good.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
Yeah, she's what you wanted in this set. I wanted more Planeswalkers.
Like this.
Like this. Exactly like this. Because, like, her static ability doesn't take away from what her other abilities do.
And this is, in my opinion, other than, what is it, Last Hope and Of the Veiled, I think this is one of the more powerful Lilies we've had.
I would agree. I would say, yeah, she's up there with some of the great Lilies.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so good.
Yeah, she's going to find a home in Standard.
Oh, I'm sure.
And she's going to be all over Commander. Anybody playing.
Well, if you've even watched Prices a little bit in the last couple weeks, the second she was announced, it was like everything pertaining to zombies was like, woo.
Yep. Yeah. I don't think she's going to be see play in the zombies deck, though.
I don't know. That's why they all spiked, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how good she would be in, like, the Soul Zombies deck. I think she might be a little too slow for what the zombies deck would be trying to do.
We're going to be seeing 4-drop Lily in the zombies deck, but the zombies have had a whole bunch of synergy cards that got printed.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why the deck's going to be played.
Mm-hmm.
This is a control card.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicolas' Cruelty.
It's limited removal. It exiles something. It's really good.
Limited.
Well, it's
removal.
Standard. You're right.
I was gonna say
-5,
Kenny,
-5.
do you not understand how powerful
3 mana,
this is?
3 mana, kill a Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so good. It's just exiles.
Yeah.
Straight. Like, this is your answer to Phoenix. This is Lyra's answer. This is anything that's got Indestructible's answer.
Yep.
This is so good. It's a 3-drop instant, -5, -5.
3-drop, go away.
Yeah. 3-drop, go away. You're done.
Yep.
Thanks for playing. Try again next week.
Yep.
That's what this is.
Krenko.
It gets big and makes goblins. It does what Krenko does.
I was gonna say it does what Krenko does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's cute. I'm excited about this for Commander, mostly.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I mean, I'm sure somebody is gonna play this in Standard because Goblin Tribal is definitely a thing that you can play.
We're gonna see it in Standard.
You're probably gonna see it in Standard. I would play this more in Commander, though.
I think there's actually a Goblin deck floating around that uses Cavalcade of Calamity.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe you're right. Yeah.
And Goblin Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting because it works similarly to was it War Boss? Where it just makes bodies.
Yeah.
It exists and makes bodies.
Oh, it's so good. But I mean, that's what Krenko does.
Yeah.
He's the Tin Street
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
He turn 3 or turn 4, you attack with him. He becomes a 2/3 and makes 2 bodies.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Yeah. No, I think he's gonna complement a lot of decks really nicely. With like the red aggro and stuff.
I got a good comment
0262.
What's the comment?
What do you think's better in EDH, Mob Boss or Kingpin?
Mob Boss.
Yeah.
Mob Boss is just more explosive.
I would probably agree with that. I feel like he's gonna be a good addition to the deck, though.
Yes.
He's definitely an amazing 99. I would have to play around with it, I think, before. Like, don't get me wrong, Mob Boss is amazing, but I would want to mess with this too, just to see what happens.
I think this version of Krenko might need a little bit too much build-up.
Possibly.
I mean, it's still explosive, but it's not...
It's not like just straight up like turn 2.
I played
Goblins.
Krenko. Yeah, I played Krenko. Here's 30 goblins.
Yeah.
This is I played Krenko. Here's 2, then 3, 4, then 5. No, so.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's a little more.
Good.
Linear. I get what you're saying.
I was trying to find the right word.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I just like playing with different things. And I mean, this would definitely be a different version of Goblins. But currently the answer is Mob Boss, pending further investigation.
All right, cool.
Okay,
So
I have to say.
so Tibble's
something-
actually good.
Tibble's good. Okay, so man, like the very first time I saw him, I was like, garbage. Really? We're doing this again? And then I like actually sat and read the card and I was like, wait a second. This is like really good.
Yeah. So if you haven't
Really
been
good.
playing,
Liar, Tibble
if
is
you
never
haven't been
good.
playing Standard in the last couple of months, there is a mono red deck that runs everything under a CMC of 3.
Yeah.
It is a burn deck and it's very, 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 very fast. It's
And
one.
this just takes it to the next level.
Its one weakness is
It's life
cards
gain.
like Wild Growth Walker that gain lots of life consistently. Tibble patches that weakness. So somewhere in the 75, there's going to be 2 Tibbles.
He's gonna be at the very least in the sideboard of every mono red deck.
Yes.
At the very least, he's gonna be in the
Just
sideboard.
because when you're playing a deck that runs 16 burn spells, and three or 8 to 12 creatures that deal damage when they enter play.
Yeah, it's like 12.
Yeah.
You have 12 creatures, like 18 burn spells.
Yeah.
100%.
This card kind of helps patch up the biggest weakness of that play strategy.
Oh, 100%.
So-
Remember, don't forget, Rampaging
Ferocidon was
Last
banned
time
for a reason.
Yeah, last time we had a card like this in Standard,
It
or
got
a
banned.
card with that ability, it got banned.
Yes.
That's nuts.
Yes.
And he comes out...
And he makes
He's
Footlight
3
Fiends.
drops, 5... He comes out for 3 mana and makes 2 creatures over 2 turns.
He makes 2 Footlight Fiends
Yes.
that die and deal damage.
Yes.
So
He's... Like, this actually... I don't know if I'm excited because we have a Tibble that's, like, as good as I wanted him to be because his lore is so insane.
Yeah.
Or if I'm, like, physically in pain because Tibble's
actually
good for
good.
some reason. That's not supposed to happen.
I agree with the comments. Tibble's never good. It doesn't matter.
Okay, but did you read this card?
Yes, I did.
this card's really good.
This card is really good.
For an uncommon, this card is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
I'm just being
It's
funny.
it's just gonna make red decks more of a boogeyman than they already are.
Which is the last thing red decks need. But this is so good. And I'm so excited because Tibble's, like, the story behind Tibble, he's, like, the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
He just likes causing pain.
he's just loves being evil to be evil. He's got such a good story, and so the fact that, like, his first card was so messed up was, like, super disappointing.
Yeah.
And now we've got this. It just makes it so much better.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that when the first card was printed, the story said that Soren just kind of walked in and squished him,
yeah, I
and
guess
then
you're right.
without even batting an eyelid, he just kind of backhanded him and walked away.
Yeah, but that's kind of just what Soren does. Just
Yeah,
like,
Tybalt's probably
you're not
chaotic
worth
evil.
my time.
Are you guys aware that Franco freed Feather?
I was not. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's one of our listeners posted some info.
And Krenko, the new Krenko actually kind of leans into what Feather does, which is really interesting, and we could probably talk about that when we get to Feather. Because I think Feather is a really interesting play space for Boros.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to
specifically.
talk about Feather. Just too good to not talk
We've given
about.
Tibble enough time. Let's go next.
Hey, listen, this Tibble deserves the time because finally
really
we have a
good.
Tibble
It's the
that's
Tibbles
decent.
of redemption.
It's pretty good.
It's his redemption. Let him have his moment, James.
Okay.
He's one of those kill on sight cards.
All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll bask in the glow for one more second.
Let us all give just a moment of glory to Tibble, Rakish Instigator.
All right. Evolution stage.
So this card's really good, and it kind of makes me want to build like a Simic lands deck that runs off of +1/+1 counters.
Okay, you do you.
I'm super excited.
I don't like lands decks, and you think I would because
'Cause you
every
draw
time
all
I
of
play
them.
Magic, I
Yeah.
get nothing but lands or no lands whatsoever. But
Never in between.
never in between. It's just one or the other. But this actually is. I like this card so much.
This card's really good.
It's a landfall proliferate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like as long as you're hitting your land drops, it's like a guaranteed.
Yeah.
My planeswalker gets extra counters. My creature gets extra counters.
Like looking at this card,
Like especially if you're playing it in Simic. Yes.
looking at this card with creatures like Merowyn or Incubation Druid
Yeah.
or Growth Chamber Guardian,
Simic Ascendancy.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah.
That's like you're just adding counters onto Simic Ascendancy, And it just like
Yeah.
makes your win that much quicker.
Yep. Cards like Hadana's Climb.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this card's really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
I love this card. And I don't play green, and I
So-
love this card.
Viviane's
So, for
bad.
those of you who don't know, this new Viviane is bonkers. She gives green decks a reactivity that they don't have right now.
Oh yeah.
And then she gives your creatures vigilance and reach, just cause, or a
And
target
she gives,
creature.
She gives your creatures flash, so it
Yeah.
adds a whole new level to what you can do with the red mono green Stompy.
Yeah.
Like it's just a whole nother
Well-
now you're playing mono green Stompy, but you're playing it at a whole new level because you're playing it on their turn.
Or Merfolk.
Or Merfolk. Yeah. 100%.
Like, seeing Viviane in Merfolk decks seems reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So reasonable, so good.
It's like, thanks for tapping out. I'm just gonna, on your end step, play Kamena.
Yeah. Thanks for playing. Try again next week.
Yeah.
That's,
and she,
she's still
her
really
minus...
good.
I dare say this has actually got me excited to play a green deck, and I never play green.
I'm sorry, what?
The Steve Irwin. Yeah, the Steve Irwin of the Magic world. Yeah, that's probably Viviane.
Oh, it totally is. Well, when we talk about Viviane's Arcbow next, I can give you, I don't know if you know the story behind it, but it's actually pretty cool.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm super excited about the -2. She gets, like, you get a card, and then you just, for as long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and cast it, so you're building a hand outside of your hand that you can just play it in
can
some
we
speed.
just say that that's like a black or blue ability on a green card?
Yeah.
That's 100%. Like, you've always been able to, like, riffle through your
Yeah.
deck with green and, like, let me put these to my hand, but this is, like, I'm doing stuff and they've got no idea what I'm doing, which is totally a black or blue thing.
I know, it's great.
That's amazing.
It's like, oh, you're swinging cool, I'm gonna Windmill Slam Carnage Tyrant out of these exiled cards.
Yeah.
Block.
Yeah. They didn't see that one coming. Bet that hurt a little bit.
Yeah, and those are creatures that can't be picked out of your hand by, like, Thought Erasure.
Oh yeah, it just extends
So,
your hand.
mhm.
It's so good. In green, yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a unique thing in green.
Yeah.
And the bow.
So this card's really good.
Oh, I love this card.
Just to paraphrase, it's kind of like a fixed survival of the fittest
Okay.
mixed with Genwave.
Sure.
So like you're discarding a card, right?
Yeah, but it's like
creature.
a constant gen wave.
Yeah. Well, it's a repeatable
limited
Genwave.
it's a limited gen wave, but you can do it consistently.
Yes.
This is like I've got a Land of War Elf in my hand.
It's basically
that I drew turn 10. Let's turn it into a Carnage Tyrant.
It's basically flood protection for green decks that allow you to trade in the lands that you don't want to play into creatures that you do want to play.
Right.
And then just put them on the battlefield, and you can do this at instant speed because that's fair.
It's totally fair. What do you mean? You have to discard a card, Kenny.
You
It's
do.
Totally fair.
You discard the forest you don't want to play,
Yeah, that.
or the ramp spell that you don't want to play because you have too many lands in play
Right.
to dig however many cards that you have mana in. Just play that. It's really great to just rip through your top decks if you're out of cards. It's just a great solid enchant, or I would say it's an enchantment, but it's an artifact because it says artifact on the card. But it's really cool.
Right. Well, speaking to another aspect of this card as well, so like referring to the Steve Irwin of Magic and just like the flavor of this card, like the lore behind Viviane's Arcbow is all of her arrows have a different animal in them.
Okay.
So like when she shoots it, it summons an animal, but it summons an animal that she's previously like killed.
Okay.
So, or hunted down, I should say. So she's hunted these animals, and then they perform a ritual to put the animal's soul into the arrow.
Oh, interesting.
So, she got trapped on Ixalan for a while. She's got a dinosaur in one of her arrows.
Of course.
Because the vampires...
One dinosaur?
Yes, one dinosaur.
Only one?
Well, yeah, 'cause she only has one of, like, each...
Oh, each
I'm sure
species?
she's only got so many arrows. She's the last survivor from her plane, as far as we know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's called, like, Skal or Scala.
Okay.
I think is the plane name. But she's, like, the last surviving person from it. Because she was able to planeswalk away. So all of her arrows are like the Scala animals that she's like hunted down and maybe not hunted down, but like she's
You try to preserve it in some form or
preserved
fashion.
for this sole purpose. So like the dinosaur, part of the lore with that was like the vampires were torturing the dinosaur, and so she performed the ritual to put it into the arrow and have it come back to full strength and fight for her. Like, that's so cool, which just makes the flavor of this card that much better, because like you're ditching that force to like pull out this creature out of your arsenal, which I think is like super cool.
I select you, Chorazord. Gotta grab them all.
That's actually a really good point. It adds this really cool toolboxy effect to green decks.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
I love the artwork.
Oh, the artwork's
it's really
super
pretty. Yeah.
Ajani.
I really like Ajani.
I don't think there's a reason to not like Ajani.
He kind of makes me want to play Bant Super Friends. With
We're
cards
bringing
like
back the Bant Super Friends, Kenny.
with cards like Ajani and Oath of Teferi and Dovin Bond. Gaining life is cool. He gives your creatures vigilance, which means you don't have to. You're able to apply pressure without feeling like you are open to attack, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So he allows your creatures to protect, and he protect and he attack.
Yes, he protect and he attack, and that he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He protect and he attack.
Yeah, and then he just pumps your dudes and puts loyalty counters on your planeswalkers.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking as far as Ajani's go to, he's pretty flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's pretty on point with the rest of the Ajanis that they've released.
I do like the art where he's just kind of running with an Eternal's head in his hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was
just dragging
no,
it
the
behind
art's
him.
like
Like this thing has no choice.
not
it's
even just the
running
head.
after
He's
him.
like dragging the whole body behind him.
He couldn't separate the head, so the body just came with it.
He's like he's so enraged, and not only like I'm waiting to see if he just goes in there and smacks the Gatewatch upside the head, because he's totally validated for doing so.
Not intelligent.
Yeah, well, he was like, if they had listened to Ajani in the first place, like I don't think we would have gotten to this level. Yeah. Because Ajani, like right after Kaladesh, I believe it was. Yes, right after Kaladesh, he was like, let's go make friends and build allies and do all this stuff so we're ready to face Bolas. And then Gideon was like, nah, man, let's go fight. It's like, no, let's not fight. And so like, Ajani just should come in and like backhand them all of them.
Something else I want to bring up is that Ajani really leans into the proliferate mechanic that's really prevalent in this set. Yeah. So like he puts a +1/+1 counter on all your creatures, and then you just say you got an evolution druid, you play a land.
Yeah, now you just start proliferating everything. So yeah, he super plays into that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think they curve into each other too. It's like 3 and 4.
Yes, they do. That's actually, I did not think of that, but that's very nice.
Yeah. So Feather's good.
Here's Feather.
Feather's really good. So Feather opens up this really cool play space for Boros, which has always been super focused on the combat step. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, you could be like, oh, I've got Sheltering Light. I've still got Sheltering Light. Watch me scry 2 every time when you target it.
Yep. Yeah, that's a thing.
And that extends to all of your creatures, on top of it being a 3/4 flyer for 3.
Yeah, that's just good.
Good.
3/4 flyer for 3 mana. And then it's like something is just continuously.
Yeah.
It's a...
yeah.
There's an infinite combo with Karn's Temporal Sundering.
I did not know about the infinite combo with that, but I did know about the infinite combo with
Ral. The new Ral Planeswalker has an infinite combo with it. But
and also one of the older cards, I think it's like a Chroma's something. It's one of the X and 2.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So Temporal Sundering, bounce one of your own dudes, bring Temporal Sundering back.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I see that.
I think we're gonna see. So I brought this up I brought Feather specifically up when we talked about Krenko, because you could pump Krenko,
right?
Swing with Krenko, make goblins, and then get that pump back. Yeah.
Ty demands more dinosaurs.
There are no dinosaurs in this set, Ty.
Unfortunately.
Ixalan was a while ago, dude.
We saw a dinosaur in one of the M set. I think the last M set.
One of the Magic Core sets,
Gigantosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, why would there be dinosaurs?
Yeah, there's not going to be dinosaurs on Ravnica, unfortunately.
The only reason there would be a dinosaur on Ravnica is because Viviane's got one locked up in one of her arc bow arrows.
Yeah.
and I highly doubt that she's gonna let it.
Arrow
Oh, maybe she would.
Sora.
Maybe it's a good idea to just
Maybe.
let it run rampant.
Just release the implacable death lizard, right?
Yeah, I guess whatever works.
I like this card a lot. I
I know
it's
you do.
I think it's really cool. So for 5 mana, it's a 4/5 flying trampler, which is great. And everyone's gonna say, yeah, but it's worse than Krasis. Okay. It puts 2 counter. It grows one of your other creatures, and then when it dies,
You
it
proliferate.
proliferates twice. So
This is so good for our Simic counters deck.
yes.
This just makes things better. So yeah, like I get you could play Krasis and do whatever or not, but this gives you value like every step of the way. Where it's like Hydroid Krasis, yeah, it's valuable when you play it.
And this thing for 1 mana more just kind of beats Phoenix.
Yeah,
Which is really good.
Just a lot.
Just all over the place. It takes Phoenix and
That's
just kind of...
that's a nice turn 4 Phoenix. I have a turn 5 thing that blocks your Phoenix.
Good thing I was on the play and not on the draw.
Yeah.
But this card's really good. Instead of paying, 6 into Krasis to get a 4/4 creature that dies to Phoenix and draws you 2 cards, which is fine, but to get something that beats Phoenix out of Krasis, which is in the same colors, and people are comparing it to, you would have to pay at least 7 mana.
Right.
Whereas this is 2 mana less for that same effect.
Agreed. Yeah, I think this is going to be a solid choice. I don't think it's going to replace Krasis by
it's going to be played
any
with
means.
Krasis.
I think it's going to be played with Krasis.
Yeah.
Because Krasis is one of those cards that you can play pretty much at any point in time. And it's better to play it the later game, whereas
It's one of the best mid-range cards in the format.
Yeah, for sure. The later you play Krasis, the more effective it is. This is just a turn 5 4/5 body with flying and trample.
It grows one of your dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see a Simic Ascendancy deck coming together.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Simic Counters is going to be something like stupid.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool.
It's going to be an interesting mid-range deck.
For sure.
This is anti-control at its best.
This is such a good card, but it's
not a main deck card.
No. I hesitate with this card, and I know a lot of people are up in arms about this card right now. They're like, oh, it's so good.
We're talking about Teferi Time
Oh,
Rattler.
sorry, Teferi Time Rattler. Yeah.
Teferi Time Rattler, yes. This card is so good, but it's not like replace another card in your main board type good. It's really good against the mirror match. So if you're playing the mirror match and this isn't your main board, you got it.
Yep.
But it's a sideboard card.
It is. To be fair, it's 3 mana for 4 loyalty, which is really good. It allows you to cast spells only one time. Each opponent can only cast spells at sorcery speed, so it shuts down their counter magic.
Sure.
Which is fantastic, and that's why it's anti-control.
Yeah.
But one of the things I find the most interesting is that when you have the breathing space, it allows you to space out your spells at instant speed.
Yeah.
So your
As a
sweepers.
control player, this card gives me nightmares.
So your
this is
sweepers, your chemist's insights, they're already instant speed, but your any sorcery speed spell you want to play, like it just makes it better.
Yeah, no, for sure.
+1.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't think. What do you replace for it in the main deck out of?
It's not going to go in the main deck.
Exactly.
It'll never go in the main deck.
No, and that's what people are up in arms about right now. Is they're like, oh, it's got to go in every control deck.
No.
You're like, yes, in the sideboard.
In the board, yeah. That's maybe a 2 of.
In the sideboard, not the main board. Yeah.
Because blue-white control they're trying to play Hero of Dominaria, which is just the more stable card that's better in more matchups.
Yes, for sure.
Excuse me.
You would rather have a Hero of Dominaria than this on the board, I think, in most cases.
Yeah.
Timeway.
This is a fantastic control sweeper.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
good.
So you bounce your Krasis to your hand, wipe the board, then replay Krasis.
Yeah. This has so many different options which you can do with it. It's a complete board wipe.
Yeah.
But it's like, I get to save my best thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a nice Thief of Sanity I have on the board. Let's get rid of all of your stuff and bring this back, and now you've got my Thief of Sanity to deal with
I think
again.
it's more
or just
like
any card.
I have a Carnage Tyrant, or I have a Krasis. Let's put those back in my hand and replay them.
I don't know how much Bant is gonna see play at this exact moment, though.
I think it's gonna see a lot of play.
You think?
Yeah.
I think we'll have to see. Like I said, this is going to be such a wide open format that I think you're going to see a little bit of everything somewhere.
I'm really convinced that Bant Super Friends is going to be a legitimate deck, and Time Wipe and Ajani are 2 reasons why.
That's fair. Okay.
Along with Rolesk.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna see some amazing like counter deck pop up, and this will do stuff for any of it really.
Yes.
I guess I was thinking of it in terms of control as well, because like if you're a control player, you're gonna wipe the board. But I mean, control plays such limited creatures that you don't want to kill your creature if you have one.
And a lot of their creatures do something when it enters the battlefield, right? Or they're just really difficult to remove.
Exactly.
So I like the way this plays in with Time Raveler, where you just set up your spells to play at instant speed, and then they go to do something to remove your dude, and it's like, oh cool, in response I bounce my dude and wipe your board.
Yeah, for sure.
Theora, Behemoth Reckoner.
So
I think she's highly underrated.
Yeah, she's a bit of a sleeper. She untaps your lands at 3 mana, 7 loyalty. It's a big deal. Then she just ramps you to your big dudes and that you draw cards off of.
She fits into so many different kinds of decks too, because she's got the hybrid mana.
Yep.
So you can fit her in a mono blue deck.
Yes, you can.
She does so many good things.
Like
you can fit her in a mono green deck.
The mono blue aggro deck. She comes down at turn 3, right? That's the same cost as their Tempest Djinn. Right. You play her, and then you untap a land. You have a Spell Pierce in hand.
Yes.
Like that deck runs what, 10 counter spells main board?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Maybe 8 to 12, depending on who you're talking to.
But it's usually like 4 Spell Pierce, 4 Wizard's Retort, and some combination of other counter spells.
Yeah, like Negates or Essence Scatters or something like that.
Yeah. So this card just facilitates that game plan. She also just goes into ramp decks because she can do that.
Yeah, because she's in ramp decks, she just draws you cards.
I was gonna make the same comment. I love the border work on this card.
Oh yes, these really cool. The hybrid mana planeswalkers, the border work on them is just beautiful.
Yeah,
like I kind of wish they did that for all multicolored planeswalkers. Honestly,
like there's actually a 3-drop creature called Wayward Swordtooth. For Ty watching, it is a dinosaur. It allows you to play an extra land each turn, and it's a 5/5 for 3 mana. So you play Theora, right? And then the next turn, so she's got 7 loyalty. She's not going to die turn 3.
Right, exactly.
Play Wayward Swordtooth, draw a card, play a land, untap a land, play another Wayward Swordtooth, draw a card.
Oh yeah, she's got so much value. I think people are sleeping on her. They really are. Like everybody's like, yeah, she's okay. I'm like,
she's pretty good.
What
She's pretty good.
She's just okay. She's so good.
Yeah, she's a pretty solid card.
Yeah. She's what I would want in an uncommon planeswalker. This is another really well designed one, I think.
Sorry about that. So Healy, Sublime Artificer.
She's a really cool prowess card.
Yes.
She makes bodies when you don't play creatures, she makes creatures when you don't play creatures.
In red blue, you do that often.
Yeah. She might go in the Drake's deck.
Maybe. I think she could have some cool.
Did you see the comment?
People are sleeping with Kiara.
Oh.
That's no worse than Jay sleeping with Vraska, so let's get over ourselves. I think she'd be interesting, like, with some of the things you could do, because she says target artifact you control becomes a copy of another
target. Treasure map.
Yeah. You just make a treasure token a copy of something. Yeah. Like, you take any, or the stupid little servo, and you make it. I don't know why you'd play Saheeli's one artifact card, like the flying dragon that allows you to. But, I mean, if you played that, I mean, you can make 2 of them now. Or something equally as cool.
She also copies Viviane Arcbow, but it's legendary, so one of them blows up. But you get a new untapped one, so you can do it again.
That's fair. You can make another Construct.
You can make another Construct. It's
she
really
has
cool
potential to do stuff, I think.
Target artifact or creature, so she can copy other creatures that seem important.
Correct.
So make a copy of Rolesk, blow up Rolesk, proliferate twice.
Right. You can do stuff with her.
Yeah, I like this Saheeli. I liked all the Saheeli.
She comes down with 5 loyalty at 5 mana or 3 mana too.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
Really
I
good.
noticed that a lot of these uncommon planeswalkers have like the lower cost for the high loyalty, but it's because they've got like the -2 ability.
they don't have
so you're
any-
only
they don't have
getting
any way to build
they don't have
loyalty
a
up.
plus unless you're building like a proliferating deck. So unless you've got ways to proliferate them or add counters, you're essentially just using them twice.
Yeah,
So it makes sense
which is fine, I think, because then it's just an enchantment that does what it does
until it gets killed. Yeah.
until it gets killed. So there's that. I really like Sorin.
Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord.
I think he's okay.
I think he's really good. So he's 4 mana for 4 loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
and his plus is a +2. So he goes to 6.
Yes.
He also gives your creatures and your planeswalkers lifelink.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting concept to give the planeswalkers lifelink. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Why I think he's really good is his -X. Which puts you pay X loyalty and you get that creature into play. It makes it a vampire in addition. So
Yeah, I mean his -X ability is pretty cool, but I feel like depending on what kind of deck you're playing, you have to sit there and have him sitting there for a few turns to make it worth it.
I disagree. I think you can, in the decks that he's going to see a lot of play in, they're going to be those aristocrat
Yeah,
style.
that's what I was thinking. Good
decks,
enough own a
right?
vampire
That's
deck.
fair.
So say your Blood Artist creature gets blown up,
Right.
right? Or your Priest of the Forgotten Gods. You just pay 2 loyalty, get it back. And then next turn you +1, it deals 1 damage, target player or planeswalker, you gain some life.
Yeah.
And then you have another creature. Sack that creature, and then you just get it back with Sorin. Right?
I agree it'd be good in a vampire deck.
Oh, it'd be fantastic in a vampire
yeah.
deck.
Yeah, he'd definitely be good in a vampire deck. He definitely has his place somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where I feel like
Oh, he is niche.
Yeah.
But I think he's less niche than you think he is.
I think this might be my favorite artwork so far on the cards we looked at.
He's
Really?
way more powerful than Nahiri,
Yeah.
yeah.
even though the
That
two are
is-
supposed to be about equal.
Yeah. I have to say too, like the one card that they share, I don't like the card at all, but the artwork on them going at it and the flavor text
Yeah.
where it's like, not even the fate of the multiverse can stop their argument. You're like, yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like we're in the midst of all this danger and you
They're
two
just
just
fighting.
can't stop fighting for like 30 seconds to save the world. Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solar Blaze.
So,
Rollerblades.
do you want to Justice Strike all the creatures? I want to Justice Strike all the creatures for 2 more mana.
I like Justice Striking all of your creatures. I don't know about Justice Striking my creatures.
Just all of them. Just all of them.
All of them?
All of
Yeah,
them.
I feel like this is a pretty effective board wipe.
Yeah. For 4 mana? Yes.
Yeah, pretty effective. I mean, it's not going to kill everything, obviously, but I think it'll minimize the damage enough to help at least like allow you some breathing room to get back on your feet.
Yeah. And a lot
Yeah.
of the cards, a lot of the decks you're going to be playing this against have more power than, like, a lot of their creatures have more power than toughness. Right?
Yes.
So, it'll
That's a
generally...
thing that I've noticed more recently.
It'll generally wipe their board. So your mono white deck, your mono white aggro deck, your blue aggro deck, mono red. I think the only thing it doesn't kill is Lava Runner when that deck doesn't have 2 or more instant or sorcery spells in the yard.
Right.
Right? So it just wipes all of those decks and it allows you to play a Boros mid-range deck to some degree.
Yeah, I think I kind of like how Boros is kind of expanding what it does now.
Yeah.
Is it just opposed to just being like punchy kind of one-trick pony type? We're starting to see some diversity in what it can do.
It's reaching into other aspects of red and white's
Right.
color identity.
Yes, and it's one of those things where it's like, as opposed to just using Boros identity, it's reaching into the red and pulling and reaching into the white and pulling
Yeah.
stuff from there and mixing them, which I think is really good for the Boros color combination. And it's nice that it's expanding from just like what it's always been.
Yeah.
Dulcimir, Friend to Wolves.
So this card has lots of text on it.
Yes.
So when he enters the battlefield, he creates Voja, or Voya. I don't remember how it's pronounced.
I think it's Voya.
Voya.
I think it's Voya.
Voya, Friend to Wolves, which is a 3/3.
Friend of elves.
And whenever a wolf creature enters the battlefield, including Voya, you gain 3 life, and that creature, and then it fights something. So he comes down, makes a 3/3 that gains you 3 life, and fights another creature.
Yeah, he's
5
5
mana.
mana for 6 power, fights a creature, and gains you life.
Yes.
I don't understand why people don't like this card.
I think it's bonkers. I think it's a really,
Yes.
really efficient card for its cost.
Yes.
And it also may or may not play into the token strategy that you find in Selesnya all over the place.
Oh yeah. Well, I think
Like-
this will work too, because like you could. It's almost setting you up to build the wolf tokens,
Yeah.
tribal type deck in Selesnya, because we have got other cards in the format that do it as well. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think this is an incredibly versatile card that offers a lot of value, and I think like everybody is saying like, oh, it's terrible. I'm like, what do you mean it's terrible?
This card's pretty
5
good, yeah.
mana for 6 power, 3 life, and getting rid of a creature.
I'm pretty sure we've got a similar card in efficiency in Regisaur Alpha.
Sort of, yeah.
It's one more point of power,
Yeah.
but it doesn't destroy anything when it enters the battlefield.
Right, I agree.
But it creates a 3/3 dude with haste.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So you put immediate pressure instead.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more castable, but this card is really comparable if you're not
I
running
agree.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, if you're not running dinosaurs, I think that is you don't have to play Wolf Tribal to
For
make
Tulsa
this
to be good,
card
yeah.
good. I think that it makes Wolf Tribal better, but I think it's like also kind of weird too, because now you're starting to go into white with wolves as well,
Mhm.
whereas
Naya.
typically we've seen them as like green red.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to add an interesting aspect to that.
Also, from an eternal format standpoint, there's a card called Wolfbriar Elemental that has multi-kicker for green, right? It's 3 mana green for, I think, a 2/2?
I'm remembering
That has
correctly.
multi-kicker, and however many times you pay into multi-kicker, so however much green you pay into it, it makes that many wolf tokens. That seems kind of silly in conjunction with this card.
Yes.
So Tolsimir may not necessarily find a place in standard in like the main top tier decks, but he'll definitely find a place in Commander.
Agreed. Yeah. I think one of the things I'm most excited though is to see what the cute little token looks like. Like he looks like so happy, but yeah,
Neoform.
we've been cut off. No more talking about Tulsa.
Yeah.
James is done with us.
So Neoform is this really cool way that this really
I'm
cool
not that
direction Civic's
impressed
going,
with the previous card either.
where it's just
Get out of here.
it's similar to Vanifar.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of you getting a creature that does it, it just you have a sorcery for like 2 less that does the same thing.
Oh yeah,
puts a
I
counter
think
on
this
it.
is super interesting / good card.
So like I'm looking from a Merfolk perspective, you sacrifice the
One of
silver
your like,
the Silvergill Adept that already did its thing, and you get a command out of it. With a
or
plus
if
one,
you've
plus one
got
counter.
like those million Merfolk tokens flying
Yeah.
around as Merfolks
pitch 'em for a
sometimes
1-drop.
do, yeah. You pitch one of them and you get this.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean, it's
It's good for aggro decks, I should say. I mean, that'll get you like
it's even good for mid range decks.
yeah.
Because like you play the Jade Light Ranger that you looked at the top 2 cards with,
Mhm.
and then you go and find a Phoenix,
Okay, yeah.
right? And then that Phoenix
Sure.
is now a 5/4.
Well, I think this is good even like I said, if you're playing the Merfolks and you're doing the tokens,
Yeah.
like that's your Terramander.
Yeah.
So
It's also a tutor.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's a tutor.
I mean, it's as much of a tutor as you make it, though, as
Yeah.
well, because it is the converted mana cost +1
Mm-hmm.
is what you can search for. So it's as much of a tutor as you make it, but it still has potential, I think.
Yeah.
And our final card.
If
the
you
new
like
Jace,
Mill,
Wielder of Mysteries.
if you like Mill or drawing cards, you'll like this card. I like this card. It's a Planeswalker version of Lab Maniac for the same cost. Healy really doesn't like this card.
It's okay. It's not that I don't like him, but like, you know, Jace is my boy, and I just wanted so much more from him from this set. Like, I wanted him to be better than this. I
Okay.
wanted like the 3 or 4 drop Jace that got some power. I wanted some redemption from Cunning Castaway, and instead I got Laboratory Maniac. It's
That
so
is
niche
fair.
and narrow-minded, and it's like it's another one of those the abilities where it's like the static ability does what his minus ability does, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, and I get why.
Well, it does and
But-
it doesn't. The first one triggers off of you drawing cards, just passively drawing cards,
I know.
right?
Mhm.
So, So if you would draw a card, it triggers on your draw step. The -8
Yes.
does it then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I said, I totally get this card and I get the abilities behind it. It's just like, I wanted more, and I'm disappointed. Like, you know me in Planeswalkers, I kept myself, like, very under control for, I think, the majority of the set when it came to Planeswalkers. Like, yeah, I'm not, like, super happy about some of them, or, like, the static abilities on all of them. But when it came to Jace, man, like, I really just wanted redemption from, like, Cunning Castaway.
So, if those of you watching don't know, Healy likes to collect Planeswalkers.
All of the Planeswalkers.
I think she has all of them except, like, 10.
I am only missing 10 of every Planeswalker ever made, every artwork of every Planeswalker ever made.
As of right now.
As of right now,
I'm only missing 10.
So...
I'm not worried about the new set. I got that stuff on lock.
So she may be a bit of a fan of the Planeswalker characters. Just a bit. Jace happens to be her favorite character.
Yeah.
So Cunning Castaway was not an upside for Jace.
No, although I have to say, I did like his look in it. I know some people said he looked like a gay pirate. I was into it. But I mean, yeah. Jace has always been my boy, and I wanted something because they gave me Cunning Castaway. Cunning Castaway would have been so much better if they had just reworded that first ability slightly. If it just had a slightly different wording on it, it'd probably be one of the best Planeswalkers in Standard right now.
Yeah.
But unfortunately...
Well, how do you guys think I feel? I love bad guys, right? So I love Nicolas, and... he's gonna go away.
We don't know that.
We'll see what happens. Ugin may just kind of stick him in a bubble.
Once again, super friends, power of friendship, make him realize the error of his ways, and we'll all be happy at the end of the day.
I feel like Nicolas just kind of wants stuff for himself a little too much.
Oh, yeah. He wants to be a god.
Yeah.
He wants to be the god of gods.
Yeah. So
don't we all?
No.
Not really.
It seems like too much work.
So now that we've gone over a bunch of the cards, is there any new insights you have about the new set?
Right now, I mean, we're still missing like half the set.
Yeah, just under half.
Yeah, just under half the set.
Mm-hmm. We're still missing like 4 or 5 Planeswalkers of the major ones, I should say.
Making a finite decision on it right now is, in my opinion, sorry, a word.
Brass.
Yeah, a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
We have a lot to see yet.
I think
including
it's shaping
like
up to be a really powerful
half the
set.
Planeswalkers that still need to come out.
Yeah. I think overall, this set was what I didn't want it to be and exactly what I wanted it to be at the same time, based on what we've seen already.
Okay.
So there's some stuff, obviously, like, I'm not the biggest fan of this set, but I think, like, overall, as, like, the culmination of, like, the last 8 to 10 years of story that they've been building up, I think this is going to be, like, really good, and I think it's totally going to be worth it in the end.
The hype's definitely there.
The hype is totally there. 100%.
If you guys didn't see the trailer, it's
the
totally
trailer,
there. Go see it.
You should go watch it as soon as we're finished talking.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as we're done with tonight, close this window and go
Open
to
YouTube and go watch it.
Over, not before.
Yeah.
That's what I said, once we're done.
But... well, for your information, Lily is on fire, both physically and figuratively.
But she's got the chain veil. You forget she's got the chain veil.
She does have
so
the chain
she has
veil.
something to channel that rage into.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll be fine, guys. I'm not worried about it.
Well, what you were talking about, just side comment, that Netflix acquired the rights to a Magic the Gathering TV show.
Yes. They have, last year, I think it was in June, they signed a contract that Netflix was allowed to use the Wizards of the Coast copyright on Magic the Gathering, specifically for 2 seasons of a show.
They might wait till War of the Spark drops.
If after War of the Spark, that's when they announce the Netflix show, and that's what we get, I'm down for that.
That's what
'cause
I would
I
do.
would totally love to take the War of the Spark trailer and expand it by like an hour.
Well, that's
I'm
what I'm
into
saying.
it.
That animation, well, all the assets they created
Oh, it's so
for it,
good.
yeah, they there's no reason, there's no way they're not using that for something else.
So they
Yeah.
have to be. There was so much production value there. It was so good.
Yeah, it
So
was
good.
really cool.
yeah.
The Linkin Park song was a little jarring, but
I thought it was kind of fitting though.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense to me. It like
Yeah.
the softer version of it with the female singing and Lily, like I got it. I was into it.
Mhm.
I wasn't mad about it.
yeah.
Yeah. But guys, our hour is coming to an end. So
Yeah, it
is,
do
isn't
we
it?
have
Well, just to let everybody know, Move to Combat airs on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It features our hosts, Healy and Kenny, and myself. If you turn on this podcast and something else is on, chances are I'm streaming one of my D&D games or something else. But this specific show is always on Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And we'll be happy to bring you more news on War of the Spark set as it comes out.
And other cool
as
magic
well
related stuff.
as we have a whole slew of stuff planned for the future.
Yeah,
and
we're planning on
we're gonna,
talking about lore. We're planning on stuff for new players, stuff for experienced players, everything. Just check our show notes and our show titles, and you should be able to find a replay of this show if you missed part of it on YouTube. I haven't even started uploading it yet, but it'd be
We'll
Move to
upload it.
Combat podcast is what
Yep.
you'd look for YouTube.
Yeah. I think that about
that's
covers
it.
anything.
That about
Yeah, that
wraps
was-
it
If
up.
there's
Our first
anything you want to
episode.
see from us in the future, feel
Yeah.
free to let us know because
Yeah.
we're down for anything.
You can drop
Post
us
it.
a line at Move to Combat Podcast. Is it Move to Combat Podcast or it's Move to Combat Podcast
Yeah.
at gmail.com. So
Yeah, you
Move
could
to
also
Combat
leave it in the
Podcast.
comments of the YouTube video when we post it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're totally up for suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right,
to
guys.
everybody who tuned in and watched us on our very first episode of Movie
Yeah.
Yeah,
Combat.
thanks for watching.
Appreciate the support. Have a good one.